Cut to the chase. What sort of games are you playing?
You're overthinking.
I'm overthinking. You're on touring with me, are you? Reverse psychology, maybe?
If suggesting a divorce embarrasses you so much, then file the papers instead.
Seriously, you really want to divorce me?
I had to get Sam to hand you the divorce papers and you didn't even show up. All you have to do is sign.
All I had to do. You're acting as if this means nothing to you, Kate.
Hello, Mrs. Scott.
Where is Mr. Scott? I have an appointment with my husband.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Scott. He's in the middle of something and asked me to come down and...
Breaking news! Ronald Scott and Emily Taylor spotted at the Bellagio. Is he again cheating on his wife? They look so cute together. Netizens are going crazy. Next up on the show.
Damn right he's in the middle of something.
Can I get you a coffee or some water, Mrs. Scott?
The truth was that Mr. Scott never did intend to show up. It had always been this way.
Mrs. Scott?
Please, Sam, it's fine. Just take a seat. This is just like him.
Is there anything else I can help you with, Mrs. Scott? Mr. Scott has another appointment in the afternoon with...
I don't need to know his schedule anymore.
Sam was surprised. Kate always used to ask for Mr. Scott's schedules. He couldn't remember when she had lost interest in Mr. Scott.
Please pass this on to Mr. Scott. I've signed the papers.
Ronald Scott, the most unrestrained man in New York City. He was not a scientist, but he played a decisive role in the field of science. No one had ever called him a rich brat. He had pushed his enterprise to a peak that it had never reached before. Scientist, a rich brat, CEO. Any of those names were both fitting and inappropriate for him. This man was a multi-talented genius.
My wife has beautiful handwriting. Divorce?
Looks like it.
Are you saying I was dumped?
Sam's legs turned to jelly. He would love to say yes, but then he maybe is the one getting dumped off this 80-story building.
Have I not given her enough to spend?
$3 million every month transferred to her account on time, sir.
Now have I not given her enough to wear?
Mrs. Scott receives the latest couture from Paris, no later than 3 days from its initial release.
And what about her life? Have I not given her a good life thing?
7 maids, 1 mansion, a personal chauffeur, and a position at Scott's Bank. She is the head of the branch.
Well then, tell me, Sam. Why the divorce?
Sam did not know the answer, but Ronald did. During the first year of her marriage with Ronald, she had lived a dream life. In the second year of marriage, she acted like a nag, scolding and swearing with hatred at the woman who surrounded her husband. In the third year, she learned a truth that she was not supposed to know.
Mrs. Dorothy, don't we have a robot vacuum cleaner? You don't have to do this all by yourself.
It's fine, it's what I'm used to doing. I must say, your wife is a nice lady. Not to sound harsh, but I don't know why she married you.
Yeah, well, she's the one being difficult. A nice lady. Hey, why does everyone in this house like her so much?
Kate walks downstairs wearing a shirt with long sleeves and jeans which covered her whole body. Ronald knew it was to cover the love bites he had left on her body on purpose. Ronald gave her a disapproving look.
Mr. Pym, please throw out her wardrobe. I'm going to take her to get something suitable for tonight.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kim, you shall not touch my clothes. Thank you. Let's go.
All right. Good afternoon. Please look after Mrs. Scott. I've got to take a call.
That's Mrs. Scott. No wonder he's having an affair. Poor Mr. Scott. Yeah, you would imagine his wife to be more beautiful. Why is this girl? You're right, she's so plain compared to our Snow White Miss Emily. But don't underestimate her. She might have had some skills to seduce Mr. Scott. But yeah, she would better do it, right?
Excuse me, do you have this in my size?
Oh, this one. Sorry, ma'am. This dress has exclusively arrived for a very special client.
Well, surely you must have more of them.
Like she said, there is only one. It's delivered on a special order. Oh, Mr. Danielle, what are you doing? You came at the right time, Miss Taylor.
She was undeniably beautiful, Kate thought.
This dress arrived just this morning. Here it is. Somebody even laid their hands on it, but I had to tell them off.
Thanks. Aren't you Miss Carter? Or are you looking for something to wear to the event tonight? You know, the one I told Ronnie to bring you to? You know, it's funny, we keep going for the same things. And yet somehow they always end up with me. But of course I'm talking about the dress. You know, if you like, we could, swap it for something of yours, Miss Carter.
Oh, you're talking about my husband. How obscure. You know what? Sure, you can have him. He's rejected goods now anyway.
What are you talking about?
I'm divorcing him. And with me out the way, let's see if he'll marry you now.
Emily knew in her heart that Ronald will never marry her. She was infuriated.
You cheap whore.
Your Ronnie is standing right behind you. Oh, I'm sorry. Must be somebody who looks like Ronald.
You're despicable, Kate.
Is that all you have? I hope you are talking as Mrs. Scott the next time you try to confront me. Otherwise, you're just a homewrecker.
Just then the two women saw Ronald standing within earshot. Kate was nervous for a moment, and then she calmed down. So what if he had heard? She had nothing to fear now. Ronald stared at this woman who was suddenly so determined for a divorce.
Well, honey, she literally just hit me for no reason.
Kate?
So what if I slapped her? What are you gonna do about it?
The old her would beg for his trust. Years ago, she had begged him to trust her, but he had not, repeatedly telling him that she did not push Emily in the river. She will not do that anymore.
Oh, look. Mrs. Scott's finally learned to be honest. I am so very proud.
It also looks like Mr. Scott has learned his patience, as he's not jumping to defend Emily immediately. I am proud of you two.
Kate wanted to step back, but stood there, defending her very last piece of pride. She had decided to regain the pride that she had lost 2 years ago.
You called her a homewrecker. Now you have to believe I'm yours, and only yours. This silly divorce business that can be put out of our minds. Alright? If you accept what I said, then you have to apologize for hitting her. If not, you can skip the apology.
Ronald was waiting. waiting for her to admit that this was just a game to get his attention.
Would Kate apologize to Emily and humiliate herself again?
Pocket FM. Install now, link in description.